Hello and kingdom greetings. I thought today I would have a conversation with you about how this world is being run economically versus how things were before. Times have evolved, changed, and one of my most phenomenal stories in the Bible that I always like to link to is the Joseph experience in Egypt. And we have found out from theological translation that according to Joseph's interpretation of the dream that many of us are familiar with, there was going to be 7 years of plenty in Egypt and 7 years of famine. Now, what was important was that Joseph was able to advise the Pharaoh on how to prepare for the famine, and as a result gained his favor and was promoted to the position of prime minister. And during the famine, Joseph had to make key decisions. His acquisition of grain provisions enabled Egypt to withstand and survive the famine. Friends, we are in times that are not unprecedented. These are precedented times. They've happened before. Worse has happened before. But what we need at this point in time, again, is great leadership. Presidency level, at royal level, at a senatorial level, at individual level. What is needed is great leadership. There's an organization many of you might be quite familiar with, BlackRock in the United States of America, that oversees close to $10 trillion US dollars, making it the largest manager of financial equity in the world. And as of December 2021, the BlackRock managed a staggering $10 trillion of other people's money. Now, it's almost a replica. What BlackRock and Vanguard that literally own the majority equity as we speak in the world, what they literally are doing is the template of Joseph that they've actually been able to replicate. So when you look at the Joseph investment style, it is a style that embodies what you'd call a move towards financial inclusion, and I strongly believe that most African economies need this. Churches need to understand how this functions, because the church world over right now, when you look at the Pentecostal church, in many ways, especially in African countries, even in Europe and America, there's been great challenges in as far as finances and growth in wealth is concerned, whereas it's been slightly different with the Catholic Church because of the setup and the mechanisms that have been set up in terms of the systems at the Vatican. So it's very important that we have a clear understanding of what this means and how Joseph translated the financial inclusion to be able to set up processes. And this is what we need to understand, that it's important for us to understand and how to set up processes by which individuals or businesses or even organizations of a spiritual nature can access appropriate, affordable and timely financial products and services. This is a standard and a system on earth, and of course this includes banking, whether it's equity or insurance products. There needs to be a vast understanding of how these products function. Now, one of the interesting areas I've always looked at is the nation of Libya before Colonel Muammar Gaddafi was taken down. In Libya, Colonel Muammar Gaddafi was able to set up systems. I don't know whether he used the Joseph template again. At his time, it is said that Libyans had access to free education. They had access to housing, affordable and low-cost housing. And for some, there was free housing. There was expatriate scholarship. There was hospitals and access to healthcare with high levels of research and medication. And from the Libyan oil, every family, it was said, was entitled to stipends, and Libya was debt-free. Now, it's very important for us to understand that African economies and the world and the nations at large, there needs to be a system that moves us towards this direction, that at household level, how are we able to move to debt-freeness? At country level, how are we able to cut down on how much we borrow? How are we able to do this? It's a system, and this is a system we must learn, understand, and pretty much put in place to ensure that we actually have a clear understanding of the times and the seasons. And of course, generations late from the Joseph experience, Moses was to lead the descendants of Jacob out of slavery in Egypt to their promised land. And it was a continuous process. And we are told that among the items that Moses brought from Egypt were the bones of his predecessor, Joseph, a man that was able to create this transformation that we are talking about right now. If you listen to this, the one thing that would be a take home for you is, even at individual level, learn how to be financially literate and knowledgeable, understand how markets operate, be gate for God, harness your innovative abilities, and grow your investment prowess. We are in times that can be challenging, but one can rise above them by having a clear understanding of the times we're in and what needs to be done. God bless you all.